Yay. Okay, you guys, thank you for your patience. As you guys know, I'm Hallie Wright. I'm the team leader here out of Long Beach or Keller Williams Coastal Properties. I'm very excited to bring a couple guests to you guys that are going to bring a lot of value. So I've had the pleasure of getting to know these people and their business now for, I mean, it's been probably almost a year now that we started this whole thing in this relationship. So Natalie has joined us this morning. Her and her husband, Kevin Amoroso, are going to share a little bit more about their business. You guys, these people bring extreme value. So make sure you have your volume turned up because we're going to have a little bit of fun for the next half hour, right? So Natalie, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us, what is your relationship with real estate? Where are you now? What are you guys doing?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, we're physically in the state of Florida. And my husband and I manage a team of 9 other agents. So it's 11 of us all together. Started in the real estate world about 10 years ago. And pretty much was the back office for my husband, right? So he started off first. So as he continued to get educated on the business, he would always tell me, I know we always talked about getting into real estate, but you need to learn the business, learn the business, learn the business. And he started, you know, throwing the MREA at me and all these other things to start learning the back end and building the business from the ground up, while he was the one that actually went out there and did all the transactions. So fast forward, here we are with a team. We've had our team for about 2 years now, and our team continues to grow. And I'm really glad that I did take the advice. You know, sometimes when it's a husband or a spouse, you kind of want to get into business and do your own thing. And I'm like, well, I got my real estate license because I wanted to buy and sell real estate, right? So I'm glad that I was humble enough to kind of step back and say, okay, we'll really understand the business and structure and set your business up from day one in a way to get it to grow successfully. Get your CRM going, learn your sphere of influence, you know, build your database from the beginning because it becomes really important for the success of your business as your business continues to grow. Because when you get in that, when you hit that place and you're adding more business and you're more busy, it becomes hard to go back and put in place the steps that you've missed. So yeah, we started there. We started where he went out, he did all the transactions, he did all the business, and I built the platform from the beginning and really started that right foundation that's helped propelled us to where we are today.
Yeah, you guys, you've really honed into the models and systems that it takes to be able to help clients in a really high level, but not only that, but help a lot of clients at one time, right? So your guys' volume has increased significantly. So what are some of the things that you've learned? You're a systems girl. What are some of those systems and things that you guys have when it comes to lead generation or servicing clients at your top level customer service that you guys give?
So I think 2 things, right? One is first, have value. What's your value? What's your value proposition? What are you gonna do to get it? What are you gonna offer or put in front of on the table to gain this client's business? Obviously, we have tons of other agents competing for their business, so we have to always have something that would differentiate us from what we bring to the table to continue to put things in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go back, Hallie, to the first phase of the question that you asked me.
Yeah, your systems. Like, what are some of the things that you did or that you do that you realized were an opportunity for you guys that you've kind of put into place? What are some of your systems?
Yeah, so I think one of the first things that we did was start by understanding our numbers, right? So started by what do we need to make to support our household? Okay, and then we trickled back from there. So to support our household, what income would we need to bring in? And what type of business would it take to actually produce that income? and start working backwards from there. So how many, if out of 5 phone calls, I'd be able to convert and actually have, if my ratio was 5-to-1, meaning every 5 phone call I will actually get business from one, how many transactions would it take for me to actually earn the money that I needed to annually to actually take care of my household? So I think for us, that was the first thing in our business that we needed to understand our numbers. Not just breaking down what the commission would be, but actually what would it take to support your household and how do you achieve that? How many transactions would it take for you to achieve that? How much hours a day would you need to put in to get that one transaction, per week, and build from there. So that was really our foundation, understanding what we needed to survive each year, and breaking it down by month, and then breaking it down by week, then breaking it down by how many hours we need to put in each day to achieve that, that annual outcome.
I love that. And I know both of you, and Kevin, welcome. I'm glad you got to hop on.
Yeah, I told him, I said, don't leave me here alone. I was scrambling. I'm like,
no way.
You better, I don't care if you're driving, you need to get in here as well.
It's real life real estate. Real life real estate. If you guys didn't, real life real estate. I'm sorry, guys, I'm driving to Fort Lauderdale, but real life real estate. That's how it is, man. Got to pull over, pull out the computer hotspot. Listen, Hallie, thank you so much for hosting this. Natalie, you're doing an amazing job. I'll jump in whenever I can.
You will. You jump right on in, sir. Don't let me hold you back.
Kevin, Natalie, first of all, you're crushing it. Thanks, Natalie. But Kevin, we were just talking a little bit about the systems that you guys have in scaling and growing your business, talking about kind of what that looks like. How do you stay motivated to keep those numbers at the top of mind? Natalie was talking about you guys figuring out that for your family. Give us some of those tips and share some of those things.
Man, great question, Hallie, and good morning, everyone. We start off with the motivation, and I learned early in my career that coming from contribution is typically like the foundation of growth. Right. And we learned this early in our business, is that, people smell you from a mile away, right? People can tell what you're about by the way you speak, by the way you project yourself. And for us in growing our team, we knew that coming from contribution was all we knew. It's what we kind of like based our businesses on. And this is not, our first business. Natalie and I have been in business before. We've been together now. Oh, shucks, we'll be married now for 15 years next month, but we've been together for over 20. And we have really invested time and energy and the effort into learning before actually going out there and taking massive action. Work to learn before you work to earn. I actually said that this morning to the team, was taking the time and being disciplined and patient enough to work to learn before you work to earn. And I think so many of us, when we jump into real estate, we have this mindset that we're going to make $1 million. We see all the success stories and we want to be just like all the other successful agents out there. And I think one of the key ingredients is to be patient, right? Really work to learn, like honestly work to learn before you work to earn. And success leaves clues. Look at the people who've done the things before you and mimic those things, mimic the success stories that you've seen out there. Ask a ton of questions, just like we're doing right now. So I think one of the keys to success is actually really being humble and being focused on learning first, learning everything that you can learn before you actually take massive action.
Kevin, I'm saying this one more time. Work to learn before you work to earn. I think that is beautiful. And what a wonderful sentiment to start off our weekend as we kick off our busy time, right? Going into open houses and showings and things like that. Coming from that place of contribution is so important. I love that. So Kevin, you guys, I met you through Clubhouse, of course, if you guys have heard of this app, right, called Clubhouse. And Kevin, one of the things I got to know Kevin and Natalie and their business really well is kind of where their business comes from. So Kevin or Natalie, what do you guys, where does your business come from? What does that look like for you guys? And how did you identify and double down on that activity?
Natalie, you want to go or you want me to go? I can go. When I first actually started getting into massive production, I was running behind foreclosures and short sales and all of that good stuff. And I realized that there was so many other hidden opportunities out there other than foreclosures. I actually started making phone calls. People started actually calling me off of my signs when I would put a sign in the ground and, just saying something was for sale. Right. And I realized early in my business that I had the opportunity to speak to people who were interested in buying and then selling their home. Right. So I started getting phone calls off of those signs. I jumped into open houses really quickly. And then, I kind of transitioned to how we would call it, those free leads, those for sale by owners and those expireds, those guys who literally raised their hands to say that, you know what, I want to sell my home. I just need somebody really enthusiastic as hell to help me sell it. So I actually started picking up the phone and calling expireds and FSBOs. True story, yesterday I picked up the phone and I called a FSBO, a $1.7 million FSBO. And he was so pissed that I actually called him. But I said, look, man, I understand that you have so many people calling you. How can I really be of service to you? He said, well, if you can help me sell this house, I'm getting divorced. I said, oh man, I've been through a divorce before. I know how that feels. And I kid you not, it broke down that wall, and he was able to literally open up to me. We peeled back the onion and he invited me out for a beer.
Wow.
So picking up the phone, honestly, just picking up the phone now. So a lot of our business now comes from literally picking up that phone and making those phone calls to for sale by owners and expireds.
I love that. Kevin, again, if you guys have Clubhouse, you can find Kevin and Natalie both on Clubhouse. But Kevin leads a script and role play session that I've had the pleasure to participate in. And taking that part of your business in that way, that's a choice, and that's a strength, and that's a skill that you have to own and learn every day. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it really is a skill. There are a lot of agents who have that that preconceived notion that people are just going to be mean to them, right? So they don't pick up the phone. They run away from the phone. There are people who think that phone call and cold calling is beyond them. They're too big. They're too established in their. I have a real estate license. I don't have to cold call anybody, right? So it's really a big call reluctance is big, right? People, a lot of agents have that mindset, and I think we get into ourselves so much that it's really more of a I don't want to say a game. It's the opportunity to really help somebody, right? If you go into it with the mindset that you're really there to help, instead of just take a listing or just get a paycheck at the end of the day, right? I think so many agents really look at that phone as that 500-pound weight that they could never pick up because of that mindset, Hallie. And I think so many of us really beat ourselves into the ground with that mindset component. Like, think about it. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, right? Right now, it's 11 o'clock, right? How many of us have really thought about, you know what, I am going to spend 2 hours today, no matter what, making phone calls, right? If it is that I make 5 phone calls a day, I'm making 5 phone calls a day, right? No matter what, just to be beyond that mindset that I can't, or it's bugging me so much that I'm so fearful that I can't make that phone call. You never know, that phone call could change your life. That one phone call can change your life.
Ali, I want to jump in and add a little bit to what Kevin just said, right? So we kind of train our agents that if not you, then who, right? If you don't do it, somebody else will, right? So just a quick example. We had one agent the other day, that one of our clients wanted to buy a property right adjacent to his existing property. And we said, okay, we'll make a phone call. She's like, well, it's not for sale. It's not listed. I said, make a phone call. So she did, and she didn't get a response. So the direction she was given, write up the offer, put it in the mail. Long story short, she closed yesterday. She closed on Friday, right?
Wow.
From writing up an offer, say my client's interested, this is what they want to offer. They'll pay your closing costs. Do you want to sell this property? Now, it was a vacated property. They weren't there. It was an absentee owner. So obviously it wasn't something that was really hard to do, but if not you, then who? Just go after it, right? You have to be bold. Most people aren't bold enough. And we train our agent, if you want the business, just go after it, put everything in it. And she had actually had a glitch because there was a divorce that happened. The property was transferred, and then she had to track down the new owner, right? To do a whole deed exchange and all that good stuff. But needless to say, she did the work, she put in the work, she closed the deal. So
Wow.
go after the business if you want it. Make the phone calls, because that's the only way you'll put things in your pipeline.
It's that fear of the rejection, that emotional weight. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing that. It's that emotional weight and that fear of judgment and rejection that sometimes we stop ourselves from achieving that true success, right? I mean, we hold ourselves back in that sense.
Absolutely. I think it's common, right? It's natural for all of us to have to psych ourselves up to just making a phone call, right? And just stepping out there. Like Kevin always says, man, they don't even know you. So if they hang up the phone on you, so what? Move on to the next, right? They'll never see you again. You'll never see them again. Pick your ego up and keep it moving. So it's really
that's so true.
Yep.
That is so true. So many of us are attached to the outcome. We're so emotionally attached to the outcome, it really stops us from really picking up the phone. I kid you not, I turn on my phone at 2 o'clock. Listen, I do my prospecting in the morning, and then I make my phone calls between 2 and 4. I kid you not, sometimes I can't even get to phone call number 10 because I'm stuck at phone call number 5 or 6, right? Because we're having intentional conversation, right? We're so attached to the outcome, right? I have a good friend out of New York, cold caller master. He says, burn and turn, Kev. Burn and turn, burn and turn, right? If you're attached to the outcome, you're going to be attached to the outcome, right? And I think, Hallie, you and I, we spoke about this. You can't fall in love. Listen, you cannot fall in love with the fact that, you know what, you have a great conversation with somebody over the phone and you expect it to happen from there.
Yep.
Man, no. The follow-up and follow-through needs to take place. And guess what? You're going to have to do it on the phone possibly as well. Right? So, yeah. I totally echo what Natalie said there.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys for sharing. It's definitely, it's so interesting how a physical activity is so associated with our mental capacity. And so when you stop and think about those things like your burn and turn, right? And then not be attached to that outcome, we allow ourselves a true breakthrough in our career. I love that. So Kevin and Natalie, what are some of the other things that you guys have learned being in the business, very experienced now, with transactions and systems and building teams? What are some of the productivity things that you guys do in your life to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself going, to get yourself to pick up that phone call?
Always be open to learning. I kid you not, always be open to learning. No matter, I've been in this business for a while. I want to say 15, 16 years. And honestly, Hallie, I hope I can be honest here. Can I be honest a little bit, Hallie?
Yeah. You have full permission.
This is not easy. This is not easy. You have to consistently work at it every single day. You got to put in the effort to be successful. It's not easy, right? And putting a foolproof system in place takes time. So it goes back to that piece of being patient and really working to learn before you work to earn, right? really putting a foolproof system in place. And that might look different for everybody because we build blocks differently, right? I started off in this business as you know, when I did my disc personality, I was an I. You know, I started off in this business as a high I. Now you can't know that I doesn't, it hardly exists anymore, right? And understanding that that learning curve is different for everybody, right? So I'm looking at the messages coming in. Can you share what systems you have in place to support your business? So all right, systems. When we talk about systems, so we look at the for sale by owner system. You look at the expire model system. You look at the circle prospecting system, right? You can figure out, or you know, you can come up, you can learn within yourself and in your business which one of these models really work for you. Am I a cold caller? Am I a circle prospector? Am I a FISBO guy? Am I an expired guy? Right? And with each one of those models, there is a system attached to it to convert. There's a funnel that you should know how that funnel looks like, how your funnel looks like. What does your marketing look like to support that system, right? Is it an 8x8 system? How well does that 8x8 system look for you? How well does that 12x12 look for you? How does your touch campaign system look for you? So we have a foolproof FISBO system, and we were talking about it this morning, where we were talking about how soon do you touch a FISBO after they've come onto the market? Before, and I'll tell you this, before I was actually touching them at week 2. My first touch with a FISBO would be at week 2. Now my first touch with a FISBO is the same day, right? And I will touch, listen, and I will do an 8x8 within the space of 9 days, 9 to 10 days. I would be touching them in a series of different ways, maybe a postcard. Like now I've actually started implementing a handwritten note as one of the first pieces of touches that I would touch them. I would, you know, so it changes after a little bit, right? So that system that we put in place, it didn't come out of the clear blue sky. I actually took it from the KW 8x8 system. And I said, well, all right, this is what that KW 8x8 system looks like. How can I adjust it, not take away from it, but how can I put some rims on it to make it shine a little better, right? According to Kevin. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what a good, I mean,
Ali, before you jump on, I wanted to
please.
just chime in
Yes,
on,
please. do.
Kevin's, because you asked, what is it, your question was, what does it take for you to keep making the calls, right? And I just have one simple answer for that. It's really just know your why. What's your motivation? You know, for us, it's like we have two mouths that depend on us that we need to feed. So know your why. And that's going to be your motivation for you to keep making the calls, after, you know, after the several hangups, you're going to keep making calls because you got your why exists. And that why needs to be like a question mark that hangs over your head at all times, right? So you can stay focused on that. And that should be your driving, your motivation for why you continuously get up and make these calls and continue to put things in your pipeline and build on and continue to build on your business.
Knowing your why and keeping that top of mind. Absolutely. Preach, right? You need to have that absolutely focused every single time, particularly when you're having difficulty completing some type of task in your job that you know is going to help you succeed. Having that open, available in front of you, whether it's visually, physically, or just mentally, you know, make sure you guys are staying in tune with that purpose of why we are here and why we've chosen to get into relationship with real estate. I love that. So lastly, if you guys have any questions, you know, please put them in the chat box. Kevin and Ali are here to help support. What would you say is the most important thing that you have learned over your real estate career?
Well, I'll take this one first because I'm gonna make it really short. Time blocking. And I say time blocking because I feel like you have to understand You have to make time for your business and focus in on your business, and you have to make time for your personal self so you can, there has to be a good work-life balance, right? So I feel like understanding your business, knowing what you need to put in place to build your business, knowing your why you're in business, and then still time blocking to allot for you to still be able to produce your end result. So for me, I would say time blocking, the most important thing, because you have to learn when to disconnect, and you have to learn when to plug in and go 100% when you're plugged in. So when you disconnect, you can actually relax, reset, and go at it hard again once you plug back in.
Thanks, Natalie. Kevin, same question.
That was that was a good answer, Natalie. That was a real good answer, man. I mean, it's better than what I was going to say, and it's still better than what I'm going to say. I was actually going to say, don't take things personally in this business. There's going to be a lot of change in this business. You're going to run across a lot of agents, clients that may rub you the wrong way, may not do things the way that you want to do things. Yeah, don't take things personally, and really consistently have a progressive mindset. That would be my answer. That was the first thing that popped out at me when you first asked that question. Was don't take things personally in this business, because it's ever changing. But that was a good answer, Natalie. Time block. Yep.
You can tell she's the systems person. She's like,
That is true.
Listen, Hallie, it's like this business can drain you mentally, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, especially when you have a family. And I've learned over the years that it's important to really just allot time to my family so I can reset. And when I do that, it allows me to jump back in and jump back in a lot stronger than I left, because usually you pull out when you feel depleted. So when you plug back in, you should be ready to go at 110%, so you can actually produce when you're in that plug-in mode. So
I love that. But thank you guys so much. I don't see any other questions in the chat box. Really, thank you so much for your time. If you guys are on here, don't forget, follow Kevin and Natalie on social media. They have tons of great value. Don't forget on Clubhouse. We appreciate both of your time. I know you guys are busy. Any last comments to the group to get them focused into the weekend?
Man, I would just say just go after it. You're in the business. You've crossed the biggest hurdle, which is being licensed. There's a ton of work out here for all of us. Real estate is really hot right now. Find you a mentor. Find you someone that will keep you motivated, that will uplift you when you feel depleted, going after these deals and closing these transactions. Surround yourself by someone that sees the end result in your business and want the best for you. Because in this business, you really do have to stay motivated. You have to be a self-motivator, but you have to know in the moments when you're down that someone is there and willing to give you that tap on the shoulder that says, come on, you can do this. Surround yourself by people that want the same end results as you and support your business.
I love that. Yeah, so Teresa had a question in the chat. She had just posted, she asked if you guys reward yourself after some hard work. Do you take time off? Do you guys travel at all? I heard you like to travel too.
Oh man, yeah. Well, recently we started doing that a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning it was always just work, and now we're at the point where it's like, okay, we have to take time away. So we're actually, Kevin's on his way to pick up my mother-in-law now. She's gonna come back and watch the kids for the weekend, and we're gonna just break away for the weekend, just him and I. So no, we don't reward ourselves after each deal, because we still, when we're in that work mode, we work. But again, once we disconnect and we unplug, we just unplug, and then we come back and we go again.
That's awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Kevin, any last words for everyone before we sign off?
Yes, thank you guys so much for having us. And Hallie, I apologize for jumping in late. I was trying to do it on my phone, but the doggone internet's, what I would suggest to agents now, think about this, right? Last year when we were locked down, I was harping at my team to get in to learn as much as you can learn, because when the slingshot actually releases, we're going to be flying 100 miles an hour. And look what's happening. We're flying 100 miles an hour. So, it goes back to what I said earlier on, work to learn before you work to earn. It's easier said than done, because so many agents really try to jump in to be in production. But think about this for a second. You're not going to win the race in year one. You're not going to win it in year two. You're probably not going to win it in year three, right? Year four, year five, if you're in that long, you'll see the you'll see the results of what you've planted in those first couple of years, right? So you have to really be in the mindset that the race isn't won now, right? That's one of the first things that I'll suggest, right? Get that in the mindset that, you're running a race, a marathon. This is not like a one and done type deal. This is a marathon, and you have to plant productive seeds. When you're setting up your business, really be deliberate in the way you set up your business now, because it's going to show in years to come. Be really super deliberate. And you cannot believe how many times I've said this over and over again. When you begin your business, be super deliberate, because I think Gary Keller says it in when he talks about your database. When people talk about, oh, we're starting over, or I'm just starting over, that really is an inclination that you really didn't do it right the first time. Right? It's an inclination that when you first started off in this business, you didn't do it right the first time. Study the Red Book. I did not, and I'll be honest with you guys, I did not start reading that Red Book until year 2 in my business, and I realized that, oh my God, I missed out so freaking much by not really paying attention to what the messages were in that Red Book, right? The MREA is literally our Bible, and we should really treat it like that. Honestly, 110%. I am a living witness. We talk about the what ifs in life. What if I had really taken the time out to take in the message of that Red Book before I actually got into production? We probably wouldn't be speaking right now. I'll be honest with you. So pay attention to that Red Book. And the last
Kevin, you weren't on in the beginning, but I did share that with them, that when I finally got on board fully, that you're like, learn the business.
Learn the business.
Yeah. Look at me. And I was like, but I want to buy and sell. And it's like, yeah, it really did make a world of difference.
Yep. We were having arguments about that. Like, yo, I'm telling you exactly how to succeed in this business. Like, yo, learn from the stupid mistakes that I've made early on in this business. Take that Red Book and let that Red Book feed you, man, feed you. Don't even worry about anything else going on around you. Let that Red Book feed you, take notes, and implement it into your business slowly but surely, and you will see the results. The last piece of advice, and I'll share this book with you, is called Knowing Exactly What to Say. It's a little black book. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Audible. Knowing exactly what to say, right? I call it the little black book. Knowing exactly what to say. Guys, for the 30-something of us who are on, the 34, when I came on, they were over 40. So a couple of us left. They're not going to get this. You guys are going to get this. The little black book will save your life. That little black book, knowing exactly what to say. I promise you. I promise you. If you buy that book and it doesn't change your life, I'll pay you the money that you pay for it. I kid you not. That little black book will change your life. Knowing exactly what to say. Please get it downloaded. Use it. It will change your life in you will know exactly what to say in any situation when it comes to either real estate or real life. That's it.
What's the name of that Red Book?
Yeah. So the Red Book, you guys, the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? The book, Red Book. We all call it the Red Book because it's giant and red. I don't even have a copy because I've lent them all out. So that's what Kevin was talking about. The little black book, that was a new one to me. So the black book is called Knowing Exactly What to Say. That's going to be on my order list and in my Amazon and probably be at my house tomorrow. Oh, good. Thanks, Louisa. Louisa's holding up the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But absolutely. Thanks, Kevin and Natalie, you guys, I love your energy. It is so, it's just a pleasure to be around. You guys are both very, very motivating, and I feel very blessed to have you in our lives. Congrats to everybody that's on this call, because the last 30 minutes has been a true treasure. So thank you both for being here with me. Everyone on this call, have a good Friday. Your leadership, we're here to help and support you. If you guys have more questions about what we talked about today, please reach out to Kevin and Natalie. I shared their social medias there on the chat. Thank you all. Have a good Friday and a good weekend, okay?
Awesome. You guys have a
Friday,
good one,
everybody.
everyone.
You guys, that was awesome.
Let's crush it.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you,
Bye.
Kevin.
You
Thank
guys
you,
rock.
Kelly. This was awesome. Have a great Friday, everyone.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie and Kelly. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you.
Yep.